So let me just start. I know, again, as Brett said, many of you know about Episcopal Relief and Development, but hopefully you'll learn something a little new as well for those that are not familiar. So Episcopal Relief and Development is the compassionate response of the Episcopal Church to human suffering in the world. Hearing God's call to seek and serve Christ in all persons and to respect the dignity of every human being, Episcopal Relief and Development serves to bring together the generosity of Episcopalians and others with the needs of the world. So this is the first reason I really love this organization. This is our church's response in the world. I know there are many organizations. Catholic Charities is one we know. Project Hope is one of the ones that your coffee hour is supporting. There's many organizations. But this is our church's response to the needs of the world. So that's the first reason I love this. Originally called the Presiding Bishop's Fund for World Relief. Does anybody remember when it was called yep, we've got some hands, the PB Fund? The organization was established in 1940 by the Episcopal Church, so it's over 80 years old at this point. Its initial mission was to assist refugees fleeing Europe during World War II. And then soon after the war, the agency's efforts expanded to include additional humanitarian assistance, focusing mostly on disaster relief. Skipping ahead 60 years, a lot of history in there. In 2000, the PB Fund, as it was known then, was renamed Episcopal Relief and Development to emphasize its, one, disaster relief work, and two, its increased programmatic focus on community development. So disaster relief and community development. Now, as Brett said, I know both in terms of your mission committee and individuals here, you are very been supportive, which I'm very grateful for. I wish all 180 worshiping communities in the Diocese of Massachusetts had the same commitment. And a lot of it is around disaster relief. I was having a conversation before this at the coffee hour about this year alone in terms of Turkey earlier this year, and now certainly what's happening in Gaza. But just for example, some historical, in 2004 and 2005, large-scale disaster response to the Indian Ocean tsunami, and then Hurricane Katrina expanded the organization's capacity, partnerships, and visibility. When a major earthquake hit Haiti in 2010, Episcopal Relief and Development partnered with the Episcopal Diocese of Haiti to offer immediate aid to those affected, and then shifted to focusing on long-term recovery programs in the areas of sanitation, shelter, and employment. So that's the other thing I like about Episcopal Relief and Development. When it goes for in response to disaster relief, it's just not there and gone. They still have programs in New Orleans after Katrina. They still have programs in Haiti based from the earthquake in 2010. So they shift from the disaster relief to the community development. So another thing I like about the organization. And by the way, I was doing this little quiz earlier about the Episcopal Church. Do you know, for example, what the largest diocese in the Episcopal Church is? You were there this morning. You can't answer it, Cheryl. But if no one else answers, I want you to answer. What do you think the largest diocese is?
It's not us.
Not us. Cheryl?
Haiti.
Haiti. So Haiti is actually a diocese of the Episcopal Church. We often think of the Episcopal Church USA. Thank you, Cheryl. But actually the Episcopal Church, our church, is actually in 18 countries. But I'll talk about that in a second. So in 2012, Episcopal Relief and Development began incorporating something known ABCD, which is Asset-Based Community Development, in its approach to its community development work. This model of development affirms the gifts and talents that people already possess, facilitating solutions rather than directing them. This method supports community-driven strategies that are sustainable, empowering people to improve their own lives. I don't know if you're familiar with the whole ABCD community development, but it's not only used in international development, it's used here. So we were talking earlier about if you looked at the gifts and talents of here at Emmanuel and looked at the gifts of talents of the community of Wakefield and neighboring communities, matching those up, it's a very different approach than looking at the needs and the lack of. So that's another reason I love this organization. Episcopal Relief and Development is a $30 million organization with a staff of probably only about 40 or 50. Because what they do, another reason I like this organization, is the Episcopal Church is one of, basically, we're a province. there are 42 provinces in the Anglican Communion, the Anglican Communion being kind of the family of churches and communities. And what Episcopal Relief and Development does is they partner with dioceses and provinces and in relationship. So if the diocese in Philippines or the diocese in sub-Saharan Southern Africa or the province of have needs, they partner, they talk. Only if the bishop and the diocese wants this to happen does the relationship begin, and then Episcopal Relief and Development works with them to figure out the strategy. So we can bring the, quote, financial resources, the strategic planning, but it's the people on the ground. People know what they need and how they can solve those solutions. They just may need some resources, infrastructure. So again, it's another way I like it, is that we're working in our family. Where there's a place like with the tsunami in the Indian Ocean, we may not have as many Anglican partners, so then we work ecumenically. But basically, we're working with our siblings around the world and our Anglican siblings and Episcopal siblings. So that's another reason I love this organization, about they respect the dignity of every person and know that, that everybody knows what they need and how they can solve it. They just may need some help. Finally, the most recent strategic plan, and again, another reason, it's a really well-run organization, so every 5 years they do a strategic plan. They're now focusing on 3 priorities. One is women, helping communities promote the rights of women and move towards the vision that everyone deserves a life free from violence in a society where they are treated with dignity and respect, as there's many programs that relate to that. Children, supports and protects children under the age of 6 so that they can reach their appropriate health and developmental milestones critical to helping them reach their full potential. Again, several programs around that. And third, climate, focusing on how families and communities can work together to adapt to the effects of rapidly changing weather patterns as they prepare for and recover from climate-influenced events such as hurricanes and floods. Again, there's that intersection between disaster relief and community development. So that's kind of how their programs around the world. Right now, they're in about 40 countries. And the last thing I just want to leave you with, which I know many of you have contributed to, is the Gifts for Life program, which is kind of the alternative gift program that especially is popular during Christmas. But with this is how they get the money to do their work. There's no money for the Episcopal Relief and Development in the church-wide budget, so they get it all from individual donations, diocesan, as well as grants from places like the Bill Gates Foundation. But there's several choices. So Cheryl and I were looking at this at the coffee hour beforehand. I think you particularly like the bicycle, which is great because you think about places like in Africa to get one place to another. Clean water was another one we talked about. Chickens, beehives, so there's many options. And so this is the other thing. And what I also like about the financial organization is that 90 cents of every dollar goes to program. It's a very high percentage, and that is because even though there's no money in the church-wide budget for Episcopal Relief and Development, they do provide in-kind services like office space, IT, those kinds of things, so that that overhead can be reduced and that the money that you're raising through buying these things, 90%, if not even sometimes a little higher, goes directly to the program. So as Brett said, I'm available during coffee hour. You can see that I'm passionate about this organization. I want everybody to know about Episcopal Relief and Development. And if there's any questions I can answer for you or just conversation, I look forward to that. But again, thank you for the invitation, and thank you for your support over the years.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you.